Welcome to Confirmation Bias, presented by the League Ambassadors.
I'm Ambassador Kenny Ken, and the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders will become the first team in sports history to withdraw from the draft. And that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Junior Blue, and at first I resisted the Las Vegas Raiders, but now I'm all in.
I'm Ambassador Dad, and hashtag can't we wish has been granted. That is my confirmation bias.
I'm Red O, and Al Davis is trying to get out his coffin right now because he's trying to go to Vegas. That's my confirmation bias.
And I'm Ambassador Chef Curry. Fellas, if your wife tells you she's filing for divorce, but she plans to stay in your house for the next 2 to 3 years, is you with it or not? That's my confirmation bias.
Welcome to Confirmation Bias, brought to you by the League Ambassadors. I quickly want to remind everybody to go to our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube, and our website so you can hit us up at any time. Today, at the end of today's show, please send in all your questions so we can answer them, hosted by Kev. Now, let's get to today's hot topics. The Las Vegas Raiders.
And we gonna excuse Les. He's so excited.
Yeah, I'm
he
excited.
fucking butchered that shit.
Butchered the opening because I'm ready to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yo!
Hey, for the second show in a row, Les, what you sipping on?
Rewind!
I'm ready to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders.
All right.
That's what I'm ready to do.
Talk about it, Les.
Okay.
Talk your shit.
Like I said in the past, I was a little resistant to the Raiders going to Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
But now, I'm all for it. And yesterday, the NFL owners had a vote to clear the way for the Raiders to move from Oakland to Las Vegas. The vote went 31-1. Miami was the only owners
Hater ass.
that did not want the Raiders to move to Las Vegas.
Hey, for the people.
Mm-hmm.
That you know what? I'm gonna pay a higher hotel tax when I go out there. I'm gonna pay a higher hotel tax.
Because everybody will.
Exactly. But I had a question, and Kev kind of alluded to it. How are Raider fans in Oakland gonna feel for the next 2 years when they know their team's about to leave?
The same.
I mean, it's a lame duck city.
The same wave they felt before. They've done this before.
But take Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Mayflower trucks coming in the middle of the night. This isn't that. This is 2 years out with your team being good for the first time in 15 years.
I think the difference in this, and I can't speak for Oakland fans because I don't live in Oakland, but I'm kind of thinking like Oakland to Vegas is not that far of a trek and maybe more exciting.
How far is it?
It was an 8-hour drive.
You said 8 hour?
8-hour drive.
Did you say not that far of a trek?
By plane, it's not.
Yeah, but they used to hop on the BART and go to the stadium. Now they have to take a flight.
Well, now they can make a whole weekend out of it.
Amen.
I mean, first of all, the tailgate.
It's going to be indoors because it's going to be 200 degrees.
Up until October.
Exactly. Because starting September, it starts cooling down.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that the truth of the matter is that whenever whenever we start to hear whispers of a team leaving an area, most of the time it's what happens. And I mean, like San Diego, for example, just went through this exercise. And although the Chargers didn't have a stadium or money already lined up and the owners hadn't already voted for them to leave, you would have to be living on a rock to think that somehow the Chargers were going to stay. So, my thing is, I'd rather you stab me in the face than stab me in the back, is how I would see it. And to your point, Devin, they've been through this before. So, suck it up.
I mean, to make, regardless of everything else, there's a football team in Las Vegas. Like, that's bananas. How is this going to work?
They're about to have a football and a hockey team.
Yeah, this is definitely not. This is definitely not your father's football league.
No, not at all. And former Commissioner Tagliabue is pissed because if you remember back during his term, he made it clear that the NFL would not jeopardize the sanctity of the game and getting it mixed up with gambling. But now that they're moving to Vegas, I'm taking my Kenyon teasers. I might move.
I mean, this is a win for everybody.
It's like a hooker's job program, baby. Like,
oh my God!
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh my God!
But the Bunny Ranch owner said that he's ready to open up a Raider-themed type Bunny Ranch.
We already starting. Kev?
But it's though I have to play devil's advocate. I mean, Les is clearly excited, but
because it's 3.5 hours away now.
Exactly.
Right. And of course, it's the entertainment capital of the world, but this is kind of smell foul on the NFL's part. There have been 3 relocations in the last, 15 months? Like, they're not doing this for fans. This is strictly for money.
Well, I think each case has been different. I think in the instance of the Rams, right, that was owner-driven. The owner wanted to get out. In the instance of San Diego and actually even Oakland, though both of those markets had every single chance and opportunity, and I think at the start of the process, the NFL wanted those franchises to stay where they were.
And I don't think Oakland wanted to leave at all.
Yeah.
I see San Diego wanting to leave more than Oakland. Oakland, they know what their identity is. You can't be playing in a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
It's not.
For San Diego, it's like a 20-year process. Oakland has been about 10 years. So
20 at least in San Diego.
So, at some point, if you're the NFL, it's like, listen, we want, and I think Goodell used the word in a recent interview, we want stability for all of our franchises.
Oh, if it goes to Vegas, they ain't going. Not a place.
Well, and also to that point, the instability is going to come with the players, which is why my confirmation bias is that they're going to withdraw from participating in the draft because rookies are going to have a hard time.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to bring this to you guys. Is that a home field disadvantage or a home field advantage?
Great question.
I think they have to spend a lot of money on training
and security.
I mean, when I say training, I mean like not football.
life coaches.
Life coaches.
They're going to have Herm Edwards come in.
Right.
He's going to be on staff.
What's my man, the wide receiver from Minnesota? Chris Carter.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Speaking the truth with 2 F's. I mean, because think about it, which is probably why Miami was hating on it because they were the number one.
Now Miami said the truth. I think why they really hated on it. They knew they were going to be
between the lines.
Nah.
I mean, the players will obviously that play there will have problems like Janikowski.
Actually,
and the likes.
I mean, I was joking, but I think it's
there.
more I think it's more the younger players you have to worry about. I think the veterans will be okay, but certainly
the away team when you come into town on a Saturday night and you got to play at 1 p.m. in Vegas and there are no clocks anywhere.
Yeah.
How?
It's going to be straight to the hotel.
Yeah.
Bed checks every 10 minutes.
You know what? If I was into real estate, I would probably work on trying to build a luxury hotel in like Henderson.
Hey, come out here.
Bring your teams out here to Henderson.
But Kev, I'm excited too because we play the Raiders next year, but we play them in Oakland.
Yeah.
But depending on how our season goes, we could play them in 19 or 20. But we're definitely playing them in 21 in Vegas, which is when the stadium is opened up, right?
Yep.
So, road trip.
Like I said, 2 words. Kenyon teasers.
Boom.
Super Bowl week, though.
Boom.
Because you know what you get
that'll
a
be out
God.
there. Yeah, that'll be out there 2022 probably.
Probably.
Now,
Yeah.
to that point, is it, how much is too much? Is it
Never too much, never too much.
Is it I'm telling you, just for
sunshine will happen.
and
At least twice.
that's all we need.
No,
I mean, you've
I'm
got
not
so
coming
much.
home.
You've got so much going on in Vegas in terms of entertainment. You know, does it get to a point where it becomes? I mean, I feel bad for the NHL team that's going to be out there because they are, before they even got started, are going to be shut down.
Kenyon, when was the last time you was in Vegas and was like, nah?
I'm not saying. I'm not speaking for myself. No.
Because I know the NBA All-Star game that weekend was.
well, they
bananas.
said they can't come back.
Exactly. So imagine the Super Bowl. there.
Vegas was like, nah, y'all overdid it. It was crazy.
Well, the NFL and the NHL are coming now, so.
How do you guys think that will impact fantasy football, or even the gambling world? The NFL,
I mean,
the NFL has tried to shy away from gambling.
it's
but
not going to affect it at all because everything's online.
They're
now.
gonna have
The world
slots.
is small.
They're gonna have slots in the seats in the stadium, Kev.
I mean, there's a lot, yeah, and I think, there's a lot. You know what? It's
Stop trying to play devil's advocate.
yeah, exactly.
Just fall in line.
It could be bad. It could be bad. They feel like in terms. Well, I would say this. I think professional leagues no longer look at gambling as something that's taboo from the public's perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it
It's
comfortable.
like tattoos.
Exactly. I think your question
Because
though.
of fantasy.
I think your question though about the influence. I think that remains to be seen. I mean, that remains to be seen because now you got to think about the people that operate in the underworld that are going to appreciate the accessibility that they have
not
now.
the perfect team.
And
Yeah.
the Raider, exactly. Right.
There will be a couple bodies found in the desert, though. I'm pretty sure about that.
It's
probably
it
already
certainly is
found.
possible. Yeah.
Talking about football players.
But it doesn't. But I think it's safe
It
to
won't
say.
be players. It'll be like the wife. Or something.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that from a branding standpoint, I think all sports leagues are comfortable with it now. So
I didn't know the NFL had a rule that the referees couldn't go to Vegas during the season. So they have to change that rule now to
Wow.
allow them. And even if it was off season, they had to alert the NFL that they were going to Vegas.
Wow.
So they had to change that.
So they're willing to incur. So certainly they're going to be willing to incur cost
Yeah, 'cause
to
they're going to have somebody watch them.
watch them exactly.
Well, Vegas, you can't get away with nothing in Vegas. It's
I
cameras
did.
everywhere.
Unless you want to.
They wasn't watching for you.
Somebody can get away.
Everybody can be touched.
Just not the dude. Just not the
Everybody
dudes who
can
tried
be
to rob the Bellagio last week.
Oh,
I don't. They didn't see the movies. They don't get away.
I know, man.
nah.
All right. Well, Les, you got anything else? Las Vegas.
Hey, I'm ready.
You ready?
I wish it was coming this year.
All right, let's go to Black versus Blue. We got Black versus Blue. First off, we've got Hope or Hype. The Final Four is this weekend. The remaining teams are number 1 seed North Carolina, number 1 seed Gonzaga. We've also got a number 3 seed in Oregon, and we've got a 7 seed South Carolina, which is your Cinderella. Gonzaga and South Carolina have never been to the Final Four. Oregon, as the 3 seed, hasn't been to the Final Four in, what,
Since 1939.
almost 80 years.
So that counts as never been.
So that count has never been as well. And so what I want to know, guys, Hope or Hype? Will one of these newbies win it all? Is there a chance for the newbies to win it all?
I would like to first off apologize to anyone who actually looked at my bracket because I have 0 teams in the Final Four, and my shit was done Saturday morning of the first weekend. But Hope, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
I had Gonzaga and UCLA in the finals.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had Gonzaga as well.
I had North Carolina in the finals.
Well, but that's
That's the one team.
that's the one team
I
that
know.
probably is expected. Okay.
I think South Carolina definitely has a good chance to beat Gonzaga. I don't think they'll have a chance going up against North Carolina. They're just too much.
So is everyone here, with the exception of Les, for obvious reasons, because he picked them to win it all, is everyone rubber stamping North Carolina over Oregon? Jordan Bell has been killing.
Shout out to Jordan Bell.
Yeah.
He killed it.
And Carolina, despite winning that great game the other day, didn't play well.
And they struggled. They were life and death with Arkansas,
Yeah.
a lower level SEC team, but heavy on defense. And the thing about the three newbies,
I know where
Oregon,
you're going.
South Carolina, Gonzaga, they strap up. They put the strap on.
Whoa. Where do we go from here?
Two different connotations in the same sentence.
Hey guys, I'm talking about basketball.
This is English.
Yeah, we
But I think South Carolina definitely. I mean, they've blown teams out. They had 2 20-point wins. They beat Duke by 7, and I mean they've looked
I'm
good.
gonna say his name is again, Sendarius Thornwell, who looks like a poor man's Kawhi Leonard.
Who?
Oh, wow.
What'd I say? Kawhi?
Kawhi.
It's Kawhi.
Kawhi.
There you go.
Thank you.
Riverside straight backs.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Good player. Good player.
Yeah, he looks good.
All right. Hit or flop, and this one's kind of been answered just within the last few hours. The U.S. women's national hockey team had been on strike from the USA Hockey because the women were holding out for equal pay, for just equality. I mean, when you look at some of the details of what their points of contention were, it's really appalling that in 2017 this strike even had to happen. And so the question I was going to put to you guys, hit or flop, because this week the NFLPA, the NBAPA, the Major League Baseball Players Association, in addition to the National Hockey League Players Association and the men's U.S. hockey team, all came out echoing statements of support for the women, and was going to ask, hit or flop, are they going to get the things that they asked for? And obviously, if you haven't noticed, or if you haven't seen it, 2 hours ago, they did come to an agreement with USA Hockey where effectively they got everything that they wanted.
The worst part is I think that's why they did get everything, was because of the pressure that was applied by outside forces that were on the women's side.
Yeah.
I think they were in a position, they were ready to tell them no.
Yeah.
But it was the wrong time to say no.
I think pressure. I think it was also pressure, and this was an amazing thing. I was very encouraged by this, in the sense of they were also getting pressure because their plan for replacements was to go to high school women hockey players, D3 women hockey players, and they was not getting women that were interested in crossing the line and supporting them.
And I mean, because that would have been the same people who would have been watching anyway. So
Exactly.
then the stands would have been empty.
Oh my God.
They were to the point where they were hitting up beer league women's hockey players, trying to get them to be replacement players.
But a question: if they wanted equality, they got to what, 70,000,
Yeah.
and the men make 140,000.
Well, there's a reason.
It's the Summer Olympics. Who watches that?
That's the winner, right?
The winter Olympics. It's the Winter Olympics. Who watches that?
Nobody watches hockey in the Summer Olympics.
Kevin, be prepared to jump in.
And I mean,
I was not about to.
Kevin, be prepared to jump in.
It's the Winter Olympics. I mean, not too many people watch that.
Okay.
More
So
people
why is
watch
there
more people watch men's hockey than they do women's hockey, though.
I think it was more about the fact that they take a lot of time away from their families in terms of training and
Right.
preparation. You got world championships, so
They
need.
both playing for the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, there were little things like the support that should have been automatic, regardless of the money. They should receive the same support regardless, and they were straight back of the bus. Like, those are things they shouldn't have to strike for.
Kevin?
take a look at the things they were asking for. I'm looking it up now. A $68,000 annual salary. You said they got 70 benefits like childcare, maternity leave, like that. That should be a no-brainer. But
standard.
the country we live in now.
I wonder what they were coming from though. Like, how much were they getting paid?
Oh, it was like
before?
$1,000 a month or something
Yeah,
like that.
it averages to be about $35,000 or something like that. It was really small with the incentives and everything. Yeah. Finally, in Black versus Blue, newsworthy or nothing to see on Friday night. 20-year-old, and I'm going to say it again, 20-year-old guard Devin Booker, the Phoenix Suns, dropped 70 points. I think he was the 5th or 6th player maybe in NBA history to put up six to drop that many. He was 21 of 40 from the field, only 4 3-pointers. He had 24 free throws. Now, it was in a losing effort.
How many timeouts and intentional fouls?
Can I get to the question?
I couldn't wait.
Newsworthy or nothing to see here about the 70.
No.
Neither.
Out of here with that shit, man. I'm like, come on, man.
Omar, I agree with you, but I think it's newsworthy because of that.
They took Kobe out in the third quarter because.
And he had 60.
Yeah, like, come on, man. You don't keep somebody in just so they can hype they step. He's a what, 3-year, plays third year or second year?
Weren't they down by 14?
They were down by, yeah. and taking fouls, taking intentional fouls.
Hey, Kev, you posted that picture. Talk about that.
Bruh, they were all celebrating. Like, what do you guys? First off, y'all suck. Second off, Tyson Chandler looked like the substitute teacher. He's the only one with facial hair. But no, I would say it was probably the worst 70-point game I've ever seen. But I think we got to give him a little bit of credit because he's not even old enough to drink. He did score 70. He had to do something to get it. And it's proof that I think he's going to be a good young star in this league.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Mamba mentality.
I am not taking that away. That boy good. I just don't like how they went about getting him the 70.
That's what
some LaMelo Ball-esque.
That's what exactly. Well, that's what kind of dampened the enthusiasm for me was, when I saw like, oh, they're Earl Watson, like, you're taking timeouts. You're gonna lose. You're intentionally fouling so you can get extra possessions. Nah.
All right, so we're gonna move to the moment we've all been waiting for, the moment of truth. Our debate segment: Is you with it or nah?
Flip of the coin has never been more important.
Yes, sir. So with the NBA season winding down, it's time to talk about the awards season, specifically the MVP race. This year's race has garnered a lot of attention because of the video game type stats that have been put up by all of the finalists for this award. There's 4 people that have been head and shoulders above everybody else, but we're going to talk about the 2 top finalists in our debate segment. So the question is, who is the MVP? Russell Willie Bobo Westbrook, or is it James the Beard Harden? So on today's show, our combatants are on the East Coast from Hood College. We have Chef Kev. On the West Coast from USC, we have Kenny Ken. So what we're going to do in the most important coin flip of this season on confirmation bias, we're going to have Ken call it in the air.
Tails never fails. Come on, Tails.
It is Tails.
Ha! Thank you. Hey, Kev, you get to go first, buddy.
Well, no, you get to. That's all you know.
No. Listen. I know how it goes. I'm arguing for Mr. Russell Westbrook. Kevin, you can go first.
Kev, do you want to go first, or do you want to?
Are you taking off your shirt?
Listen, first off, Kenyon's going to go first because he got to choose. I'm going to resort to some witchcraft and some wizardry with a wardrobe change. Give me one second.
Wow, he went deep. All right, so I'm going to go first. Sounds good, man.
Can we start it, please?
Okay, so
this might get awkward.
Wait, what is it?
Yeah. Yes, Rita. We got to get that shirt.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Let's go, Kenyon.
That's a super inside joke. Okay.
You can't get any more inside than that.
All right. So same rules apply. We have 2 minutes for each. We have a 5-second grace period.
Oh my God.
Kenyon, I'm gonna count you down. 3, 2, 1.
All right. Russell Westbrook is definitely the 2017 NBA MVP. Everyone talks about the triple doubles, and rightfully so. He is on pace to be the second player since Oscar Robinson to average a triple double. He is going to break Oscar Robinson's triple double record of 40 triple doubles in a season. But here's the thing. Typically, when you talk about triple doubles, right, it's a lot of times, especially in the case of Russell Westbrook in his first 4 or 5 years in the league, seen as a lot of empty stats. empty stats meaning he's getting the stats, but the wins are not there for the team. This year, in his triple-double games, they win 81%. They have a 57% overall winning percentage. They only win 30% of their games in the games where he doesn't get a triple-double. It's not empty work. It's actually necessary. When you look at what Russell Westbrook is doing, names like Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Bill Russell, George Mikan, James Naismith, none of those players, great as they are, have ever averaged a triple-double within a season. Russell Westbrook has played every game. Russell Westbrook has an inferior supporting cast. When you look at his team compared to James Harden, I would argue a lot of James Harden's success is attributed to the offense that he's playing in and the supporting cast. He's surrounded by shooters. Russell Westbrook doesn't have a top 10 three-point shooter on his team. James Harden has two, Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon. But more than his production, it is his engagement, it is his intensity that is literally fueling that team. So when you look at what's happening with Russell Westbrook, this season is a convergence of two things: the tangible greatness that is his production and his intangible effectiveness that is resulting in a season that we will never see again. That is indeed most valuable.
I feel like you just preached to us.
Ambassador Kev,
I'm going to turn your way, Kevin.
I'm going to count you down, sir. 3, 2, 1.
All right, Kenyon. So my argument's going to be based off history, and that is that in the NBA, history shows that award never goes to anyone based off their individual statistics. In 1961-62 season, when the Big O averaged a triple-double, did any of you know that he actually didn't win the MVP that year? The voting wasn't even close. Wilt Chamberlain, me and Devin talk about this all the time. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds a game that year. He did not win the MVP. Bill Russell won the MVP because he was the best player on one of the best teams in the league. His team went, I think, 60-20 that year. And Oscar Robertson finished third in overall MVP voting. His team was just 6 games over 500, which is kind of comparable to what Westbrook is doing this year. And if you look at the last 40 years of MVP voting, only 3 players have won MVP that were not on 50-plus win teams, and that's Michael Jordan, Moses Malone, and Julius Erving. And as good as Westbrook is, he is not in that caliber of players. I know you love him, Omar, but he isn't. So if my case for James Harden is that he's also averaging career highs in points, rebounds, and assists. He's leading the league in assists at just over 11 a game. He creates 25.5 points per assist. 25 points by assist per game, which is the highest in the NBA. His true shooting percentage is 62% compared to Westbrook's for 55. And Westbrook, who I think not only does he pad his stats, but he's the only player who's allowed to have the ball in the game. So, of course, his stats are going to be more inflated. He's actually shot the ball 930 more times than the next person on OKC. So I think in this case, it's easier for him to get those numbers. So I think James Harden makes his teammates better. He has at least 5 players on the Rockets team that average at least double figures. So at the end of the day, the award goes to the most valuable guy and not the guy who pads his stats and gets his.
Woo! Good job, fellas. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Judge Omar. Was your bias confirmed?
I got a question for you, Kevin.
What?
If you had a complete team, you only needed a point guard, you only had 2 players left, Harden or Westbrook, who you taking? Truthfully, on your daddy.
James Harden isn't a point guard.
He plays point for Houston, right?
He is the point guard for Houston.
Ball handler. He's not the point guard.
You only had between those 2. Who you taking?
I'm taking Lonzo Ball. Pick him. You know you want to pick him, Omar. Pick him.
You already know who won. Come on, man. Westbrook, Willie Bobo. Come on, man.
He's not going to win the award, though.
That's not. I disagree with you there in the sense of
what he's done this year is legendary.
Yeah, it is. It's A, it's legendary, and B, the wins are there. Like everything he's doing. Whether you say he's padding his stats, which I think is a judgment call, it's needed and it's effective. He's producing, and it leads to wins.
Hey, Kevin, you know, I love Westbrook. I truly believe that you were wrong about one thing, which was I actually think Westbrook is bringing his team up more than Harden is bringing his up.
Omar, you didn't ask me to believe what I was to beat Kenya.
Yo, I tell you what, though, that Montreal T-shirt was genius. Yo.
I got desperate, man. Listen, I do think I would love to see Westbrook win the MVP because I think they got it wrong in 1961-62. If a guy is putting up a triple-double, the first you've ever seen, and you also have Wilt Chamberlain who's giving you 50 and 27, and you give it to Bill Russell, I think we're not awarding great performances. I just don't think when it comes down to it, the voters are going to pick Russell Westbrook. I don't.
All right, so we're going to go to our diplomatic immunity segment. Kev, take it away, son.
All right, we got a few comments here and there. Perm said we need some strip clubs out in Vegas, which I don't think will be a problem when we get those.
And ask him to define what does he mean by we.
Like, we need them sponsored. What are you talking about here?
I'm pretty sure Perm is planning a group trip. Coming with the ambassadors. I have a comment from Slug, who I'm assuming he's speaking about Westbrook, and we can talk about this because it was a contentious point last year. Was that the Thunder can't win with Westbrook, but they can't win without him, which I think is a good point. I also think it contributes to why KD left, whether we criticize how he played or not. I think some guys feel like he is more so about him and getting his than what it would take to win, which is why I say I don't think he's a legitimate point guard.
I actually think I think the reason why they can't win with Westbrook this year has everything to do with Billy Donovan, in the sense that anybody with half a brain knew that the key to this team was going to be what they do defensively. And it is their failure defensively that is going to come back to bite them in the playoffs. We have seen instances in the NBA where a man that performs at the highest level. I think no one would disagree that when Allen Iverson took the Philadelphia 76ers to the finals, that was the apex of his career. When a guy is performing that way and it works offensively, you need to do everything that you can to support him on the defensive end.
Well, why is that a deficiency? I mean, if you look at their starting roster, like, they have people that should be able to play defense. Like, what is the problem?
It's coaching. You need to have a scheme that emphasizes that guys are locked in 5-on-5, that are locked in completely on defense. And it's a point of emphasis. Like, when I say emphasize it, I mean in training camp, you're doing primarily defensive drills instead of offensive drills.
Defense is dead. We talked about that.
We did. But I'm saying
if that's the case, then bring in shooters.
Yeah,
and that is on the GM's fault. Like, Dan Toney became the coach of Houston.
Man,
the first thing he did was he said, "Harden, you're my point guard," and then they went out and got shooters.
He's averaging 10 assists a game, and nobody can shoot.
Right. I'm talking about the GM, but he was the one that had all them hogs there at the same time. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, that's good GM. I mean, you can't hold all of them, I guess.
You could have traded Harden.
No, but you knew what you knew how you knew what the structure of your team was going to be, in the sense of how the flow was going to be. So surround him with shooters, just like no different than what Houston did.
Yeah. Kev, do we have any more?
We got the brother Scott Cameron, who of course agreed with Omar Westbrook. Got some people saying what's up, saying hi, family, friends. So we do thank you guys for chiming in, for supporting on the site, and just keep it up.
If you're a fan of sports and you want to write something, you have something to say, visit our website for diplomatic immunity. That's the place for you.
Scott, tell Jasmine to go sign up for diplomatic immunity.
She got something to say.
She got something to say.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us at Confirmation Bias. Go to our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and let us know was your bias confirmed.
Waiting to see if he was going to butcher it.
Social media.